All right, guys, let's check out the Oken Oscar Humboldt GMT. Now, I have a non-GMT version here as well, but you're not going to be able to get these. These are pretty much gone off their website. You can, however, still get the GMT model if you want to pick one of these up. I'll put a link down below in the description. I have to say big thanks to my buddy Josh, who is a member in my private Discord. He sent these in. Well, actually, we met up. He bailed my butt out when I was stuck in Chicago O'Hare with my flight being canceled. I called him up and he came and picked me up and gave me a ride north for my wife to intercept. And anyway, maybe you've heard that story, maybe not. But anyway, Josh is super generous, super nice guy. Allowed me to take both his Oken Oscar for me to video, share with you guys, and he gave me a personal ride home. So big thanks to Josh for doing so. Let's get right into it, guys. We're going to primarily talk about the GMT version on this one because it's kind of like the current one that you can actually purchase. But the case size on this, 39.5 millimeter with the bezel being 40 millimeter. You can see it slightly overhangs the case. Approximately half mil on each side, right? 47 lug to lug. You can see drilled lugs, fully brushed everything. You have like, no polished edges, fully brushed. So this is like a watch that, much like my Oken was, is purpose-built, kind of. And actually, I'm going to leave this out because it has those kind of vibes to it, I think, where it's definitely a tool watch sort of thing. It's only 12.5 millimeter thick. You do have a sapphire crystal, double domed, but very, very slightly. I don't know if you can pick that up. It's very, very slight. And AR coating, of course. 20 millimeter lug width here. Bracelet tapers down nicely to 16. This is a very nicely done bracelet. All individual pieces, but it won't flex backwards just because of the way they angled the links here. But you don't need your bracelet to flex backwards. You need to drape this way, and this one does this perfectly. It has a fully milled clasp. Look at that, no micro adjust. Hold on a second, there are micro adjusts on the fly. And I have to say, they did a really good job with that as well. Bunch of adjustments there. So you'll be able to find a good fit. No problem. You have screw pins in this thing, so sizing it is going to be easy. 200 meter water resist on this thing. Yeah, 200 meter. 6.5 millimeter screw down crown, keeping that water resistance. You can see it's signed with the Oken Oscar logo. You're going to see that barrel shaped logo in a few other spots I'm going to point out as we zoom in. Inside this GMT is the Sellita SW330. I did throw it on my time grapher. It is still running very good, well within spec. It is a 4 hertz movement, 56-hour power reserve, 25 joules, hacks, hand winds, and you have the date down here at the 6 o'clock position. The price on this bad boy is $2,150. So yeah, gasp, right? It's a little bit higher price, but they have really nice packaging, and then they have a really heavy focus on the sense of ownership of the brand and being part of a community within the brand. They are a Chicago brand, and they have a watchmaker on staff. That's Nathan. I actually met him. He's super cool. And their manager, Andrew, also super cool. I met him in San Francisco. We hung out a little bit. I was going to try to meet up and hang out with them in Chicago, their hometown, when I was at the Wind Up Chicago. But legit, man, they were like, their booth was just hopping. So I didn't even want to like mess any of that up and try to like ask for time because I wasn't there to purchase. And a lot of people were there to like get heavily involved. I think the sense of community around the brand is like legit. It's big time. So you're going to get also inside this case with that movement, there's a Faraday cage. So it's surrounded, in case you don't know what a Faraday cage is, it's like a soft iron cage, and what it does is it cuts down on the potential for your movement to get magnetized. Additionally, beyond the Faraday cage, there's actually like a rubber isolation mounting system for the movement within the case. This is stuff that a lot of other micro brands aren't really doing. So there's a few, but for the most part, you're not going to see that. That's not the norm. And these guys are doing that. So it has additional shock resistance built into the movement holder above and beyond what the movement is already capable, because most movements have somewhat of a shock resistance built into them. This one, they take it the next level. and that's really cool. I really appreciate that attention to detail. Also, you're going to notice on this thing, as we're looking at it, it is a sandwich dial. And I think they work with Lume Tech for the sandwich dial Lume plate underneath. So that is really cool. Lume Tech is a company in Ohio. And for their leather straps, they work with a company that's in the Illinois somewhere. I think they're in the Chicago area even, Horween Leather. So that's really cool. So they do a lot of local sourcing if they can, but then they have like obviously heavy ties to the Swiss industry. If you go to the Oken Oscar YouTube page, there's even some videos of them traveling in pretty cool video they did there. You can see their signature orange seconds hand there with the barrel balance. And as that sweeps around, you can see that hand reaches all the way out to the chapter, right? And then the barrel, if you look as it comes around, it'll actually intersect with their little barrel logo just below the GMT symbol there. It's kind of like blacked out, so you don't really see it, but it actually stays just inside that track, that skeletonized track, and then intersects with that logo there. The GMT hand is fully blacked out except for the orange tip, so that's really cool as well. Just all these little subtle details. Even the handset being fully blacked out, they just kind of have that floating look to them that kind of really ties in with the sandwich dial. There's a bunch of little details that I really appreciate about this watch that if you don't give it the time to really take a closer look at it, I think you're going to miss that. And that's the problem with not giving a brand a little bit of time. Give some brands a little bit of time, take a closer look at them, and you're going to see a bunch of little subtle details. And the Oken Oscar watch definitely has all those little details. Also, 120 click bi-directional 24-hour bezel here with ceramic ball bearings. Legit, one of the best bi-directional 120 click bezels I've ever felt. Zero play, very tactile. The audible on it is very nice. It is very well done indeed. The brushing on it is consistent and clean throughout the whole watch. Definitely, like I said, it has that tool watch vibe to it. The clasp interface, I would say, is probably, it's a really good clasp, but I'm not used to, I guess, or I don't prefer the friction fit, but like that's just me being nitpicky. It is still executed very well. So there's a non-display caseback. They are individually serial numbered. They obviously are proud and label the anti-shock and the anti-magnetism. On the non-GMT one, you had a display caseback, and then you got to see the custom 4-starred Chicago branded rotor. This one's going to have that as well. It's just hidden behind that solid caseback. Let's zoom back out. We can pop this on wrist real quick. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover about this watch, but here it is on my 7¼ inch wrist. It looks unassuming, and I think that's why a lot of people will potentially overlook the brand just because it looks, dare I say, ordinary. Unless you look a little closer, and that's where all those little details pop out. Also, in case you guys don't know, I believe this one has it. Some of these newer Sellita movements are going to have a much snappier feel, and I think this is one of them. Let me see if I can check it. Oh, no, that's the date. Let me do the, yeah. This one has the much snappier feel to the GMT hand when you operate it. You can actually feel the tactile click to it. Oh, you know, I want to bring up another thing. The stem and crown system on this, legit. One of my favorite things is, again, really nitpicky because it doesn't matter as much as like some people maybe lead on to, but like crown wobble, this thing has like no crown wobble. I know some of the earlier ones had a little bit of crown wobble. This one is tight. And I love that about that. Like some of my other, like the tag and the, I'm trying to think of some other ones that had like crazy tight crown and stem interface. That's just one of my things that I like. You know, like some people love a lot of Lume. Some people love whatever, pick your item. That's just one of the things I like. Let me blast this a little bit. Looks like the Lume's going to be blue. It could be wrong, could be right. Let's fire it up and check it out. Yeah, it's definitely a blue lume. So that's what my naked eye is seeing. Hopefully it's coming through on the camera. But sandwich dial is really good. I see a little bit lighter on the lower portion here, but overall pretty consistent, plenty legible for sure. No lume on the second hand. I really don't have a problem with that because it is such a nice striking orange second hand. I love the length and the overall look of it. So I don't really care that it doesn't have lume on it. It doesn't bug me one bit. And you do have a nice lume pip. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.